Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Revive Mississippi. We're host DeKeither Stamps. We're about to go live on 90.1 FM. So sit back, relax, enjoy buckle your seatbelts. We got the Fair Street Firecracker in the house today, Miss Davis. So share the video. Our first-time viewers, go ahead and hit the like button. Our returning viewers, hit the heart button. Share the video. Post in the comment section where you're viewing from. And the call-in number is 601-948-5950. That's 601-948-5950. All right, sit back, relax. We're about to have a great show today. Get myself together. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Reviving Mississippi. I'm your host, DeKeither Stamps. We got our co-host here, Miss Starlette Simmons. How you doing, Starlette?
Hello. I'm good. How are you today?
Oh, you always good.
I am. I can't complain.
I know. Them Jim Hill Tigers can't complain too much. Well, we appreciate everybody for always tuning in every week for the last almost 9 years now. In November, it'll be 9 years. And so we thank y'all for always being attentive to what we got going on. We try to bring you good information every week. As we start every show, we always start our show by asking you to remember those people who are going through bereavement. You know, bereavement is a very trying situation. I mean, we just got done celebrating the life and legacy of our good friend, Mr. Robert Bobby Davis, this past week. So we want to thank everybody who came out and participated and just took the time out of their schedule to help celebrate the brother's life and his family and all the folks who came to the funeral and the graveside ceremony, and even everyone who came to the repast, just everything, all the fellowship calls, and the family definitely appreciates that. And all those other families also who are going through bereavement. You know, my family had some death in the family this past week, like 2 weeks ago. And so just many other families out there, just reach out to everyone who is going through bereavement, because you got to be a friend so you can have a friend when your time comes. Ms. Davis, I know.
Yes.
Your time coming.
It is.
You're going to need somebody to lean on.
Yes, you are.
And sometimes it hits you so hard, you need a few folks to lean on.
That's
so
right.
Make sure you be a friend. So when your time comes, you will have a friend in that moment to get through it, because in isolation, it's hard for us to get through anything.
Yes.
But together, with the strength of God, we can get through everything. And we can all do it together. So today's show, our sponsors, underwriters for this show, Mr. Michael Jordan and Michael Jordan Transportation Service. You can go to www.mjstransportation1.com. Almost forget www.mjstransportation1.com for your transportation needs. Mr. Michael Jordan always provides great quality transportation services all over the state of Mississippi. And he's also a good friend and community leader who focuses on building this community. So he specializes in people who are developmentally challenged, who are senior citizens, just anybody who needs a ride. If you need a ride, you don't have to Uber and scuba around here. There's good folks, good down-home folks like Michael Jordan who offer great services. You can go to www.mjstransportation1.com for your transportation needs. Also, I want to make sure we highlight, I went yesterday, Starlette. I know I'm supposed to be eating right and healthy. But boy, I had one of them stamp burgers yesterday, baby. Oh, man, that little fat boy inside of me was giggling.
With lemon pepper fries.
With the lemon pepper fries. I ain't gonna bought some of the season to take home.
Oh, my goodness.
I should have worn my t-shirt today. But I went over to Stamp Burger, had a great, go over there and see all the brothers over there. It was like a family reunion. I saw Larry was over there when I was there. So going over to Stamp Burger. Y'all know where it is, been the same place all this time. Go over there and get you a nice juicy burger. The reason I went over there because I was like, man, it's been a while since I had a good burger.
Yeah.
I had a turkey burger. It was nice. It was healthy. You know, everything I needed. You know, it was good. I even brought some company with it. Had some folks in by the town.
Really?
I said, come on over here and get y'all we're going to Burger King, getting a Whopper. Man, please. throw that Whopper in the garbage. Let me get you a real hamburger.
Right.
They enjoy it. They're gonna check our brothers out on Dog Street and Stamp SuperBurgers. And Stamps Law Firm right there on right downtown Jackson. Here to serve your needs. But you got some opening comments you want to make started? But the thing that going on this week?
Just been working, trying to get that money, honey.
Today's show, we're gonna talk about Juneteenth. And we have a young lady here. No strangers to this show. I just came up with the name, the Fair Street Firecracker, but I think I'm gonna stick with that one.
I'll take it.
You'll
I'll
take
take
it. We got Miss Dorothy Davis here to talk about some activities that are going on in the community. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell us what you got going on.
Well, first, thank you for having me on your show. Well, we know what Juneteenth is and what it means to the Black people, you know, but since everything is really running from the 16th through the 19th, which Juneteenth is today, we are doing our celebration the week after, so it won't get lost in the shuffle. And we're going to have a gospel fest. Cool. We know that the gospel is really the way the slaves used to communicate. And so that's why we are going to do it as a gospel fest. It's going to be held on the parking lot of New Hope Missionary Baptist Church, 106 Hamilton Street. We are here today calling for all choirs, groups, soloists, whatever want to participate, to call us or email us. Our email address is Farish Street Community of Shalom @gmail.com. Once again, that's Farish Street Community of Shalom @gmail.com, or they can reach me at 769-233-3300. Now, the twist of this, not only will it just be a gospel concert, we are asking all youth between the ages of 12 to 18 to participate in our King and Queen Drive. This is a way, it's educational, because you will have to look up and give us a 2 to 3 paragraph essay of what Farish Street means to the Black community.
Wow.
And that's whether it's in the community, on the state, or the national level, because you do know that Farish Street is a historic district, and it's on the National Registry in Washington, D.C. So it's not just a regular community. And so we are asked, and the winners will be crowned Mr. and Mrs. Juneteenth, Mr. and Miss Juneteenth, and will receive $100 each. Now, I tried to get in on that $100, but they told me I was a little too old. And along with that, we would like to have vendors, food trucks, pop-up shops, to come and be a part of this. We are asking the vendors to pay $50, food trucks to pay $100. And once again, like I said, they can contact me. I'm Dorothy Davis, and you can contact me at 769-233-3300 or by our email address.
So, first and foremost, Juneteenth is special.
Very.
And it's amazing to me how many people didn't know about Juneteenth until they made it a holiday. Because in Jackson, it has been a holiday for a long time.
Right.
But the broader community, people know about Cinco de Mayo. They know about, these other, days of remembrance. But they didn't know about Juneteenth. And so tell us a little bit about the history of Juneteenth.
Well, Juneteenth, as we know, is the actual celebration that the last slaves were made free in Texas. They did not even know they were free. And so they were still operating under slavery. And so finally on June the 19th, way back,
65?
Yeah, 65. I'm sorry, I lost that date, but I knew it was June 19th. They got the word that they was free. And, I fought us because we don't tell our own stories. And that's why all these other holidays has been celebrated. We just refuse to spread our own word. Like I heard you say one time, history is his story, but we need to tell our story. And we don't do that. And even the Bible tells us to pass that down from generation to generation. And so I fought us for not celebrating it and not knowing about it, because it's not taught in the schools. But that's where our Black churches come in. To me, we should be the one telling it in the church, highways and byways, your radio program, all things like this. We should be discussing. Instead, we're discussing everything else except what really matters. And that's why we're falling behind on everything.
Well, you know, the reason I celebrate Juneteenth is to remind folks that you are free.
That's it.
So many folks sit back and wait for other folks to do things. You are free to save yourself.
That's right.
You don't
And
have to
we
wait
have
on
to
somebody.
save our own self.
Nobody's going to save black folks.
That's right.
You want to save yourself. The government, you know, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King are not coming back.
That's right. They gone.
They gone. They're not coming back to save us. We are free to save ourselves.
That's right.
And, you know, the first person you got to save is yourself.
Yeah.
But knowing that you are free, so many people, I feel like when I'm talking to folks, that they feel locked into some kind of, you know, like they're still in some mental shackles.
They are.
And, you know, like me, I walk around proud and happy that I'm free.
That's it.
I'm not mentally chained to anybody. I don't need any man, as long as I got my connection with God, I don't need any man's permission to be free.
That's right. But we're locked up in the mind,
That's
Mr.
right.
Stamps. That's our problem. We're locked up in the minds. And until we set ourselves free, like you said, and realize that we are free, then we will always be chained.
Now, I want everybody, we got several Juneteenth ceremonies and celebrations that'll be happening in the coming weeks. Don't just celebrate Juneteenth. You celebrate Juneteenth by living a free life. Free men don't act like slaves. Free men ride around like Django.
Right.
Remember Django?
Yes.
You know that horse? Who that on that neck?
Django.
You ride around like a freeman. You don't walk around like those slaves in the movie.
That's right.
You ride around with your head held high. You negotiate terms on deals and contracts with white men, women, whoever else, from a position of strength.
That's it.
You don't go around with your head down, begging. Because one thing I know about any man, if you act like a boy, carry yourself like a boy, you're going to get treated like a boy. When I walk in the bank, I don't walk in the bank begging.
I don't either.
Because we're doing business.
That's right. And you want my business as
And
much
you
as I
want
want
my
yours.
business, and I want your business,
That's right.
and you're going to make money off
of
me.
That's it.
So again, a lot of things that we deal with in life can be changed by how we carry ourselves. If you walk around like a slave, America, Mississippi, and everybody else gonna treat you like a slave.
That's right.
They know what box to put you in.
That's right.
But when you walk in like a free man or woman, you get respected as such.
You hold your head up high, look people directly in the eye.
That's right.
Don't hold your head down when you talk. And I tell my grandchildren all the time, especially my grandsons, look me straight in the eye.
That's right.
When you're talking to me. And that let people know you're free.
That's right.
But if you're walking around with your head hanging down, that's the way the slaves had to walk. They didn't have a choice.
That's right.
But that's why Juneteenth is being celebrated, like you said. But we're going to have to live Juneteenth every day.
That's right.
And let's stop fighting against one another.
Mm-hmm.
We just shouldn't be doing that.
I have yet to sit behind this microphone and tear anybody down.
Right. No,
I've been beat down.
Right. Yeah.
Throwing a
You
fire.
don't tear people
I don't tear folks down. We build folks up. But one thing it's done for me is I thank God for 9.1.
Yes.
I thank God for 9.1 because it's given us a platform to talk to people.
That's right.
You know how many folks around the world don't have the ability to just pick up a microphone and share the good news?
That's right. It's a lot.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
9.1 is the only, I don't know any other radio station that's 100,000 watts that lets you come in and talk about Fair Street Community Show.
That's right. I don't either.
You called me a few hours ago.
And you said,
come on down here.
And I'm here. That's right.
So we have to appreciate some of the things that we have in our community. But before I get to that point, I want to finish up this point about being free. We got to not hold your head down when you do business.
That's right.
I train my young people that I mentor that my ears and my eyes work together.
That's
If
it.
you're not looking at me when you talk to me, I can't hear you.
That's right.
I have to train the men
To look
that I
at it.
mentor.
That's
Hey,
right.
bro, my
Look
ears
at
and
me.
eyes work together.
I like that.
If you're not looking at me, I don't hear you.
I don't either.
I've trained myself to not even pay attention to people who don't
If
look
they
me
look
now.
at me now,
If you ain't looking at me there, I ain't listening.
that's right.
Because I don't carry myself like that. I even had a guy I was looking at doing some business with. We sit at the table. He called me by my first name.
Oh, okay.
I said, my name is Mr. Stamps.
That's right.
Mr. Stevenson.
You want, that's right. But you have to demand that respect.
That's right.
You demand it.
And everywhere you go, ladies and gentlemen, it has worked for me. And I thank God for my parents.
Yes.
I had a heck of a parent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, real parents.
I do too.
I had a heck of a parent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my mama would smack us if she had to repeat herself.
Mine too. Mine is 90 years old, right? My mother is 90 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I still respect her to the point that I will not talk back, and I'm 65.
That's right.
You understand? And my father's dead and gone.
Mm-hmm.
But he demanded that respect also.
We got to up the bar for ourselves.
Yes.
And that's what Juneteenth allows us to celebrate during the celebration period, but helps us to remember during the period of life when we're living out here all year long. Carry yourself as a free person, and you will be respected as a free man.
That's right.
I see that work.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm going in the government offices and stuff, you got folks to head down and they walk into these folks' office, and I see how they interact. Because a free person handles their money appropriately.
Right.
Don't waste their money. So even it's not about how much money you make. It's about how you steward your money.
That's right.
And then people respect it.
They sure will.
You can make $10,000, $20,000 a year. But if you are handling your money properly, when you go to transact business at the bank and they pull your record up, and they say, okay, you're somebody that's got good stewardship.
That's right.
You can do business no matter how much money you make. You got folks that make $100,000 a year that wasted and squandered.
That's right.
And they turn around and don't get any respect.
They
So no matter
less
how,
with that 100,000 than the other person.
I know
with
some folks
10,000.
that do more with 20,000, folks do 100,000.
That's right.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking around several topics right now, but the important part is Juneteenth coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrate it in physical activity, but more importantly, practice being free. Practicing being free can allow you to breathe some different air. You ain't got to hold your head down when you walk around town. Because when you pick your head up, your pants come up too.
Ooh,
Once you lift your head up now, I'm telling you.
What you say,
I'm just telling you. I don't tell folks. Folks around here telling me young men lift your pants and stuff. No. Lift your head up and be free. Because a free man gonna carry himself different.
That's right.
He gonna exude those characteristics of somebody who believe that he should carry himself a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we gotta move. We've allowed the culture of, jail culture and some of this, secular culture to take over our communities. And it's beyond time for good folks to stand up and say, hey, I'm not gonna live like this anymore. In this house, this is how you're gonna conduct yourself. You're gonna get out.
Right.
Let me catch this call. Hello, caller, welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Yeah, how you doing, bro, Stan?
Hey, how you doing?
Let me ask you, what do you think about this here? I think it's a pretty good idea. What do you think some gentlemen coming from the Middle East? They say when they came to the Middle East, they went to California, stayed there for a while, Los Angeles, and they were talking to the district attorney, has been trying to get up with them for the past 2 or 3 years. And finally, they decided to come to Mississippi, especially to Jackson. And they said they're going to they plan to buy 500 houses in the Jackson area and renovate them and rent them out and sell some. What do you think about that? From the Middle East?
Well, actually, I met with them. I actually sat down and broke bread with their whole family. But before I answer, stay on the line. Don't hang up. I want you to respond to what I tell you. First and foremost, many of us own this property. Many of us have the ability to buy property from each other.
Right.
Instead of buying a new Lexus, a new Porsche, you can go buy this house down the street. About 3 of them for the cost of some of these cars.
Yeah.
And for the price of some of this hair. And some of these other things y'all got going on. You know, you spending, $500 more on hair, and that's another mortgage you can be paying. And be receiving rent and provide quality housing for ourselves. We don't need other people to come to our community to rebuild our community. But let me get to this next point. If other people from other places see value in our property and want to invest in it, I'm all for it. But it should show us the value that we giving away, that we tearing up. There's value in Jackson, Mississippi. Our folks wouldn't be moving. I know this family. They packing the whole family up. I mean, kid and caboodle. They packing the whole family up, Starlette. Listen to that. They packing the whole family up. They're selling all their property in California. And they're coming sitting up shop in Jackson, Mississippi. Now, if they packing their whole family up and moving from Los Angeles, California, putting their cash in their pocket, and then coming to South, not just Jackson, South Jackson. They've identified that South Jackson is where they want to make their investment for the next 100 years for their family. Now tell me this. Why are we packing up and running all over the place? Should we be reinvesting our own money? If other people see the value that's in South Jackson from across the country, you mean to tell me that we are not smart enough to see the value from down the street? So my point to you, brother, is, do you think that we should see the value of our own property before other people see the value of it?
Yes.
And then what do you think people should do about it? What do you think people should do about it?
It says that again.
I said, what do you think people who live here now should do with the value that they have in their own community?
Well, I think they should take pride in everything. And like I said, these houses, a lot of these houses have been sitting up for quite a while, and we aren't doing anything really. So if these people are going to come in and do what they say they're going to do and everything, I think it's a good idea.
Oh, I'm not against it. Like I said, I'm not against anybody investing in our community. But let me tell you what's going to happen. Let me go back a few years. And we're going to have a little, about 10-year history lesson real quick. 10 years ago, there were some individual property owners that are here in Jackson who owned the most property residentially in Jackson. Okay, now the largest owners of property in Jackson are corporations. Connerex is the largest one. Connerex has probably bought a couple thousand houses in Jackson. So now we got folks that's mixed in with the New York Stock Exchange owning your property, and that's how your property values is going up, because it's being driven by outside economy. So now if we sell all our property and become more rental, because they're not selling anything, they buying. Think about this now. Even the folks you talk about, they're not coming here to buy something and flip it and sell it. They come in here looking at all the property that's for sale, and they're paying $5, $10, and sometimes $20,000 over what the person asking for the property. So if they're paying $5, $10, $15, $20,000 more than what the person is even asking for it, Mr.
That ought to tell us something.
That should tell you that the long-term value of the property in this city and in this state, really, because they're buying properties in Crystal Springs, all over that place. So that should tell you the long-term value of property in Mississippi. If folks from around the world are coming to Mississippi and handing us a check for property. So let me tell you what's gonna happen in 10 years. Mark my words, Starlette.
I'm listening.
The average person that grew up here, that's been here for generations, will not be able to rent property that they could have bought for pennies on the dollar.
That's right.
You will not be able to live. Actually, in 10 to 15 years, the average person will not be able to even buy property in Jackson, Mississippi. It will be out of reach. All those properties used. When I was on the council, we wrote a law that said, you know what, if it's a city-owned property around your house, if it's a vacant lot, you can get it for $50. And if it had a structure on, you can get it for $100.
You sure did.
Remember that? So you got folks who got property for $100, all right, and then they turn around and sold it to Connerex
Sure did.
because Connerex said you bought it for $100. Okay, we'll give you $20,000. And they went back their little small little house down the street, and they balled out of control for about a month. And in 3 months, money was gone. Connerex took another $20,000, put in the house, and then now the house worth $200.
That's it.
So our lack of walking around this earth like a free man, and our continuation of perpetuating slave practices has made people rich. The ignorance of the Negro is profitable. People make big money. Am I right, Hen? People make big money off ignorant Negroes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Big money. That's why you got to educate yourself on your dollar, learn to spend your dollar properly, learn to invest in yourself, your family, your own community. So if you got a little ability to buy something, don't run to Madison and spend $600,000 on a house. If the bank can give you $600,000 for this house, they will give you a loan for 4 houses that's worth $75,000.
That's right. They sure will.
And let me tell you another little secret my granddad told me. My granddad, he was a janitor at the elementary school in Crystal Lake. And some folks, like, he the janitor. My mama thought that the people at the school charged them for lunch because her dad was mean.
Okay.
No, let me tell you what he did. Every August, he would buy a little piece of property in the tax sale. And then he'd patch on it all year long, after work every day, Thanksgiving vacation, Christmas break, spring break, and across the summer. And then he rent it out, sell it. And so by the time he retired, he was growing up, he had other money coming in.
Right.
And so my mom and them had to buy their lunch because my granddad made too much money.
That's it.
Because he knew he was free. He was celebrating Juneteenth in his daily activity in life. So when the children got older, they in turn, first, he had somewhere for them to stay. They could leave, but he had a house over here, a house over there. Baby, you want to stay over here to get yourself off the ground?
Right.
Here you go. That's what free people do. Slaves kick their children out in the wilderness and don't give them nothing. But the Bible says, good man leaves something for the next generation to start from.
That's biblical.
Right? That's what the Bible says. I don't know the whole Bible. I am not a preacher. Right? But a free man conducts himself in a different way. That's why it's important to celebrate Juneteenth in practice. Now, we do it in celebration, around the celebration. But the Irish celebrate what's that day they celebrate? St. Patrick's Day in celebration. And then in practice, in the daily living. The Mexicans, they swim over here. They celebrate Cinco de Mayo in celebration. And then now they ride around here in F-350s.
Yes, they are.
Because they celebrate it in practice.
That's it.
On a daily basis. And so, yes, sir.
and I'm gonna get off the line, but why do you think we don't take advantage of, like I said, these homes and things around? We see them, we drive by them, we see them, and see that. Now I look at some got a nice good structure to them, so it's probably wouldn't take up much to renovate them and everything. And if the city owns a lot of them projects and they're set up for demolition, why can't the city give these houses to whoever might rent them and help these people get out of these high rent apartments?
Well, let me tell you this. I'm gonna hang you up and I'm gonna ask you, call. So let me tell you this. If I gave you a property for $100, don't you think you should be able to go fix it up yourself?
Yeah.
That's what we did.
Sure did.
We gave away 700 properties. The city doesn't even own any property anymore. We gave it all away. We for $50 for a vacant lot and $100 for if it had a structure on it. It was called the Neighbors First program. In the Neighbors First program, I myself, Tyrone Hendricks, and Tony Yarber put the program together.
Sure did. Along
with Charles Tim and the rest of the council, participated in that. But so now the state-owned property now, the state-owned property did something similar, getting rid of property as well. Well, they were getting rid of property, giving folks, if you own a house down the street, you can go get it. So we've had several of these opportunities over the years. We got a lot more work to do. But the point we're making here is the continued slave practices that we do ourselves leads to the community looking the way it looks. See, I driving through the neighborhood yesterday. I had some reporters in town. They were doing a story on gun violence. Now, let me show you something. You go down the neighborhood and you see one trash house over here, and then you see a free person over here cutting the edge in the yard, but they got to live across the street from this person over here that's acting like a slave. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying today is nobody's slave. Everybody's assignment today is to it's free to pick up online. You can go pick up make a slave. You know that Willie Lynch letter?
Yeah.
That says let's make a slave?
Yes.
Read Let's Make a Slave. It ain't but a page long.
That's all.
That one-page document. One-page document. This is not a big book. This is not an encyclopedia.
Like you said, one page.
That one-page document shows you how to make a slave. And he said if you do it correctly, they will self-perpetuate it for 400 years.
That's right.
And that was in what year, Starlette? That's your something right quick. Look it up. When was the Willie Lynch letter? When did Willie Lynch give that speech? At what year? Why she getting that, looking that up? She in that generation of G searches.
That's right.
We research. She gonna G
right.
search it real quick. But in the document, they said that if you do this right, my friends, they will self-perpetuate for 400 years. And what I'm telling folks is the reason Juneteenth is important, not because of a blues show, not because of a party, it's because you got to get it in your heart and get it into your practice. The reason my grandfather walked around this earth like a free man is because my great-grandfather and great-great-grandfather were known for buying property all in Copiah County. A lot of the churches in Copiah County, where they get the land from?
You are.
Right. Who built them? We did.
That's right.
The church my mother's member of my New Zion, W.P. Cooper, is on the stone right there, is one of the ones who helped build it. Same thing with Shady Grove down there.
Right.
So there's many churches out there that we've been doing. So that's why I carry myself different than other folks do. Because I ain't never been a slave. Ain't nobody in my family ever been a slave.
That's right.
Even the ones that they call slave wasn't slave. We were free Africans that came over here by ourselves. And then we were enslaved. And then we fought our way through the whole American experience. What you got from Starlette?
I see that William Lynch gave this address or this speech in Virginia in 1712, and it's been printed since the 1970s.
So 1712. What's 400 plus 1712? Come on now. Come on now. You college student now. What's 400 plus 1712? Come on. We wait on you. The whole Mississippi, Louisiana, Tennessee, and Arkansas is waiting on Starlette to tell me what's 1712 plus 400.
Me and Miss Dorothy working it out.
You working out? That's simple math.
1712.
1712 plus 400. Come on, that's 2112. Come on, man. I'm gonna send you back. I'm gonna send you back to 4th grade, 3rd grade.
We're working it out.
All right. So now, and we still perpetuate. We 100 years. We
100 years. Huh?
We almost 100 years away from that. We 300 years in. My point I'm trying to make is that we have to carry ourselves in a different way. If we carry ourselves like free men and women, hold your head up high, do what you can with the pennies you got. You can be like my grandfather, who was a janitor at the elementary school, and making more than the principal.
Because he knew how to do it.
But he wasn't bragging, wasn't boasting. He was just living his life. Every time you saw him, he was working.
That's right.
Because you got to work twice as much on your future as you do your job.
That's right.
If you do that, your children can live a better life. Let me catch this call. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Yes, sir. How y'all doing today?
Hey, brother. How you doing?
All right. Look, I thank you for taking my phone call. Thank you for putting out all that great information that y'all putting out. I just want to make a comment. Majority of our people, we have a lot of our people know about investment, but a lot of our people they don't have a lot of education on investment. They scared and they don't want to go out and bank and look at the bank and I like you said, if the credit right, that bank will need your business. And they're scared to fail. They're scared to fail. One of the problems. They don't want to put in the hard work. Investing and having a business take a lot of hard work. They take time. That's what a lot of our people don't want to do. We got a great deal. Yeah, they invest in houses and different things, but the time to get the money, sometimes they make it hard for us to get the money that they do other people. One of my questions, reason I called in, I'm a minister, preacher. God called me to preach, and he done called me in my county. I said yesterday county and bring it to run for rural supervisor. I need to give people like you that been up the ladder to kind of get educated and a little help, and kind of explain things to me. I don't want to top the time on the show. You money, your number. After I was talking about, I like to talk about two things.
So this number you got here to end in 6640, is that a number I can call you later on?
Yes, sir.
Hold on 1 second. We'll make sure Starlette gonna write that number down on there. But let me just give you a little advice. And this anybody who will run for office. I'm gonna take 5 minutes and just give you some basic stuff. Just basic. It's service. It's not for you to get rich. It's not for you to look good. Like service, first and foremost. And to prepare yourself first. If you want to get into this line of work, it's service. And I would say first, sit down and have a heart-to-heart with you and God to see if this is what you want to do. Because loving people is not easy. Listen, say it again. Loving people is not easy. And especially loving Black folks ain't easy. So first off, get right with you and God. Make sure it's a good decision. You say you're a pastor. I feel confident you're going to do that. The next step, sit down with a heart to heart with you and your family, because not only will you serve, your wife going to get those phone calls about different issues. Your dad, mom, sister, everybody serve. We all is together. And that's why I thank God for my family. Because when I jumped in it, they just backed my play. They helped me knock on doors. They helped me do all this stuff. I didn't have money to pay folks for this, to help do all this stuff. And they believed in my heart of service and then turn around and back my play to help me move forward in this process. And we move forward together. And we've been moving forward together continually. So that's the second step is you, your family, y'all get locked in together. And then step out to your community, you know, and actually do service work. And so from a foundation of service and commitment, then educate yourself on all the different positions that are out there and see what position you would like to participate in. Because sometimes we get locked in on this or that, but we don't. I seen folks run for office, don't even know what their job role and duties are. They'll be up there giving a campaign speech about this and that job don't even have nothing to do with what you're talking about. You know, so educate yourself so when you do step out there, you are able to, you know, talk about these different issues that are going on. And then secondly, once you educate yourself on, say, okay, now, what are the solutions to some of these problems that I'm saying? Because everybody can go outside and point in a pothole and say, run for me because I'm fixing that pothole. Now, what are the solutions to solve the problems that you're talking about? And lastly, ask yourself one critical question, two critical questions. Do I have the ability to deliver those solutions? If that answer is yes, then you go to the next question. And the next question is, am I the best person on the ballot? Because if somebody else is on the ballot that is better at you, step back and partner with that person and y'all work together. But continuing to tear each other down to get a position is not effective. The best thing I ever saw one time, I had two friends that were looking at running for office in the same position. And they sat down and talked prior to it. And one of them said, you know what, man, we grew up together. I'm gonna say you step forward and I'm gonna serve in a different capacity.
Which make a lot of sense.
And still doing that thing today. So I just those are some points I wanted to just throw out there, brother. I hope they helped you out a little bit. Did it help you out, brother? Hello, you still there, brother?
Yes, sir.
Did any of that help you out?
Yeah, look at that box.
Okay. All right, we got your number down. We'll give you a call when we get out the show, all right? All right, take care. You know, so wrap it. And I see Mr. Joe the Jock just posted facts. I don't know if he want me to tell the rest of that story, but go from there. Donna, if you want to call back in, go ahead and call back in. We was on the other line. Now go in there. I'll be on the phone here, but go on, call back in there and on the line. We'll pick it up. But the main thing about Juneteenth, celebrate Juneteenth in celebration, but more so in practice.
That's right.
Practice being free. I know sometimes you may not know about a lot of things, but in today's society, anybody who wants to know something can know. Ignorance is not an excuse anymore.
No, it's not.
Because you can sit there and look up stuff, watch videos and all that, but all kinds of different stuff.
That's right. And
learn. Instead of being on that thing Facebooking, you could be learning, okay, well, how do I budget my money? How do I prepare to buy a house? How do I buy a house? How do I buy two houses? So forth and so on. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Representative Sam.
Hey, sir.
You and I would not have had any idea before session. You hosted us at the state capitol, and the founder of Better Men Society brought young men
with prison records to the state capitol for the first time. We at that point, DeKeither would not have any idea that we would be without Mr. Robert Davis today. I said that to say life is precious and no man knows the time he has here on earth. With that being said, we're going to continue to try to support that organization because it's one of the most powerful organizations that I know of that's doing the work that's going to be critical to changing Jackson. But the question that I have to keep in the struggle comes back to funding. It comes back to the $4 billion that the state had. It comes back to the excess money that the state had, that they were looking for something to do. Close to the end of the session, one of the news reports said, well, the elected officials are trying to figure out, listen to this, they are trying to figure out what to do with the excess money. Just help me to understand. I'm going to hang up and thank you for taking my call. Am I wrong to feel offended that this state did not, that I know of, put funding into the African American community in an impactful level, if you will? When you rode around yesterday and showed people areas in Jackson, and they are not hard to find, certain zip codes, that's just the way it is. Why is it that the conscience of those that's in control, and why is it that, and correct me if I'm wrong, we just didn't hear an outcry from our elected officials to fund some kind of project in South Jackson? And I hang up and listen to your comments because at the end of the day, Mr. Stamps, all of us have good hearts, we're concerned, but you know firsthand that it is going to take an infusion of cash. A lady wrote a check about $25 million to Alcorn State University. Tula, I think, got maybe about $10 million from Netflix. Whole Credit Union got about $10 million from Netflix. DeKeither, we're going to need an infusion of cash so we can plant a seed that'll change these communities. Thank you so much for taking my call.
I hear Mr. Jones' passionate plea a lot about funding. And he's accurate.
Very.
He's very accurate about the need for infusion of funds, the need for other folks to invest in our community.
Yes.
One of the things that we did with Better Men Society specifically, since he brought that organization, I was out with them last night. We go out and when you see folks pray for folks in gas stations, these young men in there, car full of dope, guns all over, money all over the floor, they making it rounds, selling dope and all that stuff, and somebody come to them. Most of the young men haven't had a positive relationship with a man.
That's it.
There wasn't a man trying to do something sexual to him or something negative to him. Just, hey, brother, if you need somebody to talk to, here's my number.
That's right.
Hey, brother, can I pray with you for a second? And until you see what I've seen over the years, people give their life to Christ in a gas station on Northside Drive at 1 o'clock in the morning.
That's right.
Get out of his car crying.
Because somebody actually reached out.
Because somebody reached out and cared. That's the good work. And when the city council, one of the things that I did appreciate about our elected officials, elected officials get beat up so much.
All the time.
Our elected officials in Jackson say, you know what? We got a building that we can allow you to use that has, lights and gas, and water, internet.
Okay.
To be a base of operation for the Better Men Society. And here you go, DeKeither. There you go.
See, we don't hear about things like that though.
Because, as an elected official, a lot of times we just do stuff.
Right.
Versus just saying, look what we did. or they owe me.
Right.
No, we just do.
Well, I do know you're one of those.
Yeah.
I do know, and I'm
So Kenny Stokes came to me and said, what do you think about this here? We talked to Robert, because Robert came to our headquarters in South Jackson. I said, Robert, you need a base of operations. We bought this old dope house down here in South Jackson, cleaned it out and put a garden out back. And this is our base of operation. You need a base of operation for Better Men Society. You can operate here or go find you something. He found a little house on Rondo Street. Did the same thing. Then turn around and use that building that the city gave him. Or the city allowed him to use. They didn't sell it to him like that. They just allowed him to use it.
Right.
But I said it to say that we do what we can with what we have. And as we show ourselves better stewards of our own resources, then money follows that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Better Men Society hasn't submitted an application for funding from the state of Mississippi. So, that's the first step, is you got to apply.
That's true.
For something.
Yeah.
Folks just don't ride around with a cash in the truck and say, here you go. So first we're gonna put them through the proper steps to apply and work through that process. But many other than that. So I would say that every organization, every church that's here, if your church is only open on the day they pass a collection plate, your church is wrong.
That's right.
Just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna call it like it is.
That's right.
With all the problem we got in Jackson, Mississippi, all the problem we got, you only open on the day where it comes to collect money and you leave? No. At this point, with the murder rate and all of this going on in Jackson,
7 days a week.
all this, you can't pick one day. And if you can't pick one day, partner with the churches around you. We got 5 minutes left to go. Let me give you a quick solution for churches. Take your church and draw a 6-block circle around your church. Inside that 6 blocks around your church, you're gonna find other churches. Mm-hmm. That's not your competition, those are your partners.
That's right.
And in that 6 blocks, y'all knock on every door in that 6 blocks. Every door.
That's right. Do
what we did over there in my ward, over there off of South Drive. And you get the church, Pastor Evans, the principal, and DeKeither Simmons. Knock on all those doors with the congregation and community folks and working with those folks. We turned Lake Elementary School from an F school to an A.
That's right.
With no new money.
Mm-hmm.
Just folks who give a damn. Excuse me, I'm sorry. But we got to get out of the house.
Yes.
Get in these neighborhoods. Then, when it's time to go get money, you got data. I developed a spreadsheet that a survey form. So when you go door to door, you can turn around. Come on, send them on over here. Yeah, I developed a survey form. So when you go door to door, you got something to ask them to help them.
That's right.
Because you can't know what people need till you put it on some data. Then you take that data to the state of Mississippi and say, I got this many people with this problem right here. Hit a name, address, and phone number, and that's how you get funded.
That's it.
So, Mr. Jones, I charge you to take the survey form I gave you 8 years ago and give me a handful of them back. With all the preachers you know, we need the data. And if you get the data, I will champion data. I don't champion feelings. I don't champion emotions. I champion data. So my charge is take the survey form I gave you 8 years ago, print them out, put them church shirts on your tennis shoes, and go door to door and get the data of the problems. We can specifically address issues in the Black community. Hello, caller. Welcome. So I got 1 minute to go. Ali,
all right,
I'm chopping at the bit.
I'm gonna make this real quick. That's the Great Commission. Go ye therefore into all nations, teach the same, protect the man that you have baptized in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. When I was associate minister at Pearl Grove on Grand Avenue, I used to go out in the streets once a month, every month, walk all them streets, knock on all them doors, meet all those people. And finally, people started to receive me. They felt like they knew me. They started to come to church. Now, here's the issue. We need to evangelize unsaved. And when we started to do ministry, God will start to do miracles. That's simply the way it goes. So ain't nothing changed as relates to the word of God. It's just that we change and try to implement the word of God. You got to do what God said do, the
way God say do it. Y'all have a blessed day.
Thank you. So we appreciate you. Got any parting words before we got to go?
I was just gonna say, we looking to the government for stuff, but we have to remember the order that God created our institutions. First it was the family, then it was the church, then it was government. So if family ain't right, you need to fix your family. But you really need to look at that church. I really like your comment on church. And just Miss Dorothy, I really do like this Fair Street King and Queen, or what is it, Miss and Mister?
Yes, and Miss.
So get your kids out there. That'll be
Govern
fun.
yourselves accordingly, ladies and gentlemen. We got to get out of here. Mr. Ali is chomping at the bit, about to breathe out my neck. Let's get on out of here, ladies and gentlemen. But I appreciate everybody. Get to work. Get us data. Knock on those doors. You got the survey form. And let's put this data together so we can clearly articulate the needs of our community. Not just give me money.
Right.
Give me money because I got this much teenage pregnancy. I get this much. Give me specific data and move forward. And we have gotten funded using that survey form. We got organizations that have gotten funded.
Okay.
Because we're going to get you a survey form because you got the data to push what you're trying to do forward. And we end every show, we always say, never let anybody put you in a position where you don't love your own people. Because when you hate your own folks, you're part of very oppression we're trying to lift ourselves out of. I love you, Jackson. I love you, Mississippi. Handyman, get us out of here.